man-eating squirrel jumped and bit the prince and stole the princess. The prince started to feel queasy and dizzy. Then he fell down and went unconscious. He later woke up in his royal palace on his throne. The princess has been captured. He went around the kingdom warning people that the princess had been captured by the man-eating squirrel. The prince grabbed his sword, threw on his armor, and took off his horse to save Princess Jasmine. The royal prince traveled for miles and miles. He went over mountains, crossed over seas, but then he came across evil penguin Hager. Evil penguin Hager lunged at him and drew his dagger and held it to John's throat and said, "You cannot do anything, you Weasley skunk." Prince John threw Penguin Hager off him. He held up Penguin Hager by the throat. He said, "Where is Princess Jasmine? Ha 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 ha. What kind of stupid name is that?" the penguin said. "I could imagine Princess Kay or Princess Elizabeth, but Princess Jasmine? That is stupid." The penguin said hysterically. "Now, well, for one thing, I think it's beautiful," Prince said. No, ha 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 ha. It's just absolutely stupid. Enough of you." And the prince tossed the penguin off the side of a cliff. The prince hopped back on the shores and went on his way to save the princess. He traveled for miles and miles. He went over mountains and seas. He was going through the forest when he was all of a sudden attacked by trolls. The trolls tied him to a tree and said, "We are going to cut your hair off." "No, you're not," the prince said. One of the trolls walked up to the prince and pulled out a razor blade. The prince screamed like a wimp little schoolgirl as the troll stroked the blade across his head until all of his brown hair was on the ground. Then they started throwing troll poop on him. He all of a sudden ripped from the ropes and slayed all of the trolls, one by one. The prince, now bald, covered in troll poop, hopped on his horse and went off to save the princess. He traveled for miles and miles in the middle of the mountains across seas. The royal prince was traveling through a rocky mountain when he heard a loud scream from a cave nearby. The prince took his horse and went to the cave. There were torches on the cave wall. The prince walked for about 10 minutes before he came across the princess. She tried to warn the prince, but it was too late. The man-eating squirrel had already jumped out from the wall and stabbed the prince. The princess screamed in terror as the prince fell dead on the ground. The squirrel slowly walked to the princess. As the squirrel raised his sword to the princess, the squirrel left a sudden pain through his stomach. He begged down and saw a sword sticking through his stomach. The prince laughed at the squirrel as he pulled out the sword from the squirrel's stomach and said, "Ha ha ha, you thought you could kill me, but I'm still standing right in front of you. Actually, you're standing behind me right now. This is why I think you're done," John said. The squirrel. It's Prince John, then Prince just the squirrel, right? Mean you want to all that just to kill a squirrel? Then the princess said, "And I thought you were supposed to be at my knight in shining armor, but you're just bald and covered in poop." The prince and princess took off to the kingdom of Malcolm. When they got back, they were there. They went into the kingdom and the castle and cleaned up. They got on their thrones and told the crowd that they were all king. They lived happily ever after until evil Prince Hager busted through the door. The end.